Hey everybody, it's me Stacy here at Scrapbooking Made Simple, scrapbookingmadesimple.com, and this is our Saturday with Stacy YouTube class number 479. Welcome everybody. I'm my own camera person. I'm trying to get it right. There we go. Welcome everybody who's joining me during the premiere of this class, which is Saturday mornings, 8 a.m. sunny California time, 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern, or 4 p.m. in the United Kingdom. Now, if you're joining me during the premiere, you may notice we're live chatting over on the side here. I really hope you pop in, and even if you just say, hi, I'm Stacy from Canyon Country, California. Don't say that because that's me, not you. But you get what I'm saying. Even if that's all you say, just pop in and say hello, and you will be surprised how many crafty friends will say hello right back to you. In fact, many of them have found themselves talking outside the live chat and making endearing friendships, which is just wonderful. Now today, what do I have for you? SMS YouTube. Some of my most favorite words are exclusively at, or only at, or get it first at. And that is part of what I have for you today. I am lucky enough and honored enough to be given what they call first to market in our industry, well, in a lot of industries. And that's where a manufacturer picks a retail and says, here, would you like to launch the product for us? Would you like to show the product to your customers first and have it before anybody else? And I'm like, we all know me. I'm like, hello, yeah. So I have a good chunk of 2023 Chapter 1 Sizzix product sitting in front of me right now, available to you right now, even in store. It's here. Wow. I love it when manufacturers say, hey, Stacy, would you be interested in it? And I'm like, yes. I have to play it cool. I'm like, well, let me see if I can make room for it. Well, I'll, cool on top and like a duck under the water. I'm like this, woo, I'm so excited. But on top, I'm like, yeah, well, let me see. I'm not so sure. But of course I want it. So I've got beautiful new 3D embossing folders from Sizzix. I've got a thin-lit, impress-lit embossing folder from Sizzix. I've got some of their other Chapter 1 product to show you. And then we're going to be playing. All of you were so excited about the Lumiere paints from Jaquard. You were so excited about them last week when I used them with the stencils. And oh my gosh, it stamps. They stamp beautifully. You would never think that a paint would stamp like this, but it does. So you all were like, I wonder how those would work with embossing folders. Well, I have embossing folders today. I knew I was doing embossing folders today. So I just left the Jaquard out on my table, and we're going to use the Jaquard with the Sizzix embossing folders. Amazing is what I have to tell you. Amazing. And then I've got a pretty unique die from Ellison from Sizzix that I want to show you. Now, before we get started, I normally do winner chicken dinner, and unfortunately we don't have that for you today. I will have double winners next week. I'm sorry. We got a little busy. We're trying to get Black Friday orders out. We're trying to get all kinds of orders out. So we got a little busy, and I got up to my table. I'm like, oh, we forgot to do it. Oh well, there's always next week. That means there'll be 4 people announced next week. And before I get started, I do want to just tell you a little itty bitty story. I don't know how itty bitty it'll be, but a little itty bitty story. And before I tell you it, I have to know that you can keep a secret. You have to keep this secret. I'm not like kidding, like I mean it. If you are not one who can keep a secret, just either turn the sound off until you see me go down if you're watching live chat, or scroll right past this, because it is imperative that you keep this secret for me. It's not about a manufacturer, it's not about product, it's a secret that I need you to keep. And so when you're posting, if you post a comment for a chance to be a winner chicken dinner next week, you can't mention this or you will ruin my secret. So let me tell you, You know that I was, both of my parents have passed away. They lived with me for an extended amount of time until they passed away. I took care of both of my folks. I knew I'd have them I knew I would be the one to care for them for as long as I've known. I just knew that I would be the one who would care for my parents. I never realized I'd have both of my parents at the exact same time. There was a 10-year age difference between them. So I figured I'd have one of them and then the other, and that didn't happen. I had both of my parents at the exact same time, which really isn't such a big deal until you realize that my parents divorced when I was 10 years old. They did. They divorced when I was 10 years old. My brothers and sisters were all out of the house. My dad lived 5 minutes away from where I was living with my mom. I would go to my dad's house for dinner, come home, sleep at my bed. And then when I was 12, my parents moved back in together. They didn't remarry. They just moved back in together, bought a new house. We lived as a family again. And then when I was 18, my dad decided he wanted to move to Victorville and build a house there, and my mom wanted to stay here in Canyon Country. So my dad moved to Victorville and built his house, and my mom and I stayed here, but my dad would come visit my mom, and and now I'm 18, I'm older, I'm moving out of the house, but my dad would come and stay with my mom and I for a week or two, and then they'd get on each other's nerves. And he'd drive home, and then my mom would go stay with my dad for a week, and then they'd get on each other's nerves, and she'd drive home. They never remarried. They never dated anybody else. And honestly, I think that if they had separate residences from the get-go, from the beginning, they probably never would have divorced. They were meant to be together. For good, for bad, they were meant to be together. So when my parents moved in with me, my mom was diagnosed with psychotic depression and dementia, and my dad had Alzheimer's. And so in the beginning, they had to stay in. They lived in the same bedroom. We put them both in the same bedroom, and they really just relied on each other. They fell back in love with each other. Except for some extreme moments when my mom would have some real moments of clarity, and she would look at me and she would say, "What is he doing here?" And I'd say, "Oh, Mom, it's okay, not a problem. Dad's just visiting. Give it 10 minutes. I'd walk out for 10 minutes and come back, and they would be telling their stories, and my mom would tell her stories again and again and again, and my dad would just listen. And so for many years, that was the way we lived. They forgot any animosity that they ever had for each other. So anyway, I have a very unusual childhood. There's no question about it. My brothers and sisters are completely out of my life and have been for many, many years, and they were out of my parents' life as well. So anyway, so where is this all going? And you have to keep this secret. So I was going through my parents' things. I have to do it a little at a time because I get emotional. I get upset. Not upset, sad, not just, it is what it is, right? Those of you who have lost parents or loved ones or friends, you know what I mean. You miss them. It's to look at things, to look back at things, it just bubbles up little memories that you don't even realize you still had. So that's what happened when I saw this item. And when I was younger, I wanted to be in the jewelry industry, and I love jewelry. I went to GIA. I'm a graduate gemologist. I went through GMA. I did the whole thing. I went through design school and appraising and all of it because I loved jewelry. But when I was younger, when I was a teenager, I thought to myself, this is me, Stacy. This is me back at 16-year-old Stacy, and maybe this gives you some insight into me. I thought, I really like pretty things, and I like jewelry. Now, what's the best way for me to be able to get jewelry? Well, to work in a jewelry store and get an employee discount, so that if I ever have a boyfriend, my boyfriend can buy me jewelry at my employee discount. And really, that's the catalyst for my very first job in the jewelry industry. I mean, and I was young, and but my thought process is, well, jewelry's kind of expensive, but if they could get it at my price at an employee discount, and that is how I got my first pair of little tiny itty bitty diamond earrings. Absolutely. So I worked for a short time, because they went out of business. I worked for a jewelry store in the Sherman Oaks Galleria off the 405 freeway. Now the Galleria is still there, but it is not what it used to be. If any of you can remember, like, the song Valley Girl and, like, oh my God, I mean, yes, I probably said that when I was 16, like, totally. I mean, we were that girl. The Sherman Oaks Galleria is about 30 minutes from my house. It is in the Valley, and that is really where Valley Girl lingo and the style came from, was the Sherman Oaks Galleria. Oh my God. So I got my first job at a little jewelry store there called Orofino's Fine Jewelry in the Sherman Oaks Galleria. Now the Galleria, like I said, is completely changed. It's not shops anymore. It's all the shops went out of business. May Company is not there. I mean, it's all changed. But that's where I got my first job in fine jewelry, was at Orofino's Fine Jewelry Store. Now, they didn't ask my age. I needed to provide my social security card, but they never asked my age, so I didn't tell them. And I didn't have a car at that time, so my dad would have to drive me to and from work every day, a half an hour away on the 405 freeway, and drop me off and pick me up. And he did this willingly because, one, it was required that I have a job. And two, it was a pretty good job for a kid my age. Again, they didn't know that I was not 18, but they didn't ask. So they just wanted my social security card, which I had. So I was there during Christmas. I really wasn't there very long because they closed, but I was there during Christmas. And, I really wanted to get something for my dad. And because I love jewelry, I just assumed everybody loved jewelry, right? That was me. And so they had a ring there that was 14 karat gold with black onyx. And I thought, okay, so I saved and I got my employee discount and I bought it for my dad for his Christmas present. It was probably the first big Christmas present I had ever done for my dad. I mean, this was a lot for me. This was a big thing. And I remember he wore that ring every day of his life until he didn't. So I remember always seeing my dad with that ring on until a little bit later on in his life, and my brother was living with him for a while with his kids, and that was a whole thing. And when I evicted my brother out of my dad's house, like I said, it was a whole thing. Then the ring was just gone. It was just gone. I just assumed that my dad was still alive when I had to evict my brother out of his house. Again, don't ask. But when I went to pack my dad up, that's when I brought my dad home with me. The ring was just gone, and I just figured that maybe my brother took it. He has 3 boys, and I thought maybe my brother had taken the ring, which was fine. It was fine with me, no problem. If that's where it went, that's where it went. And I had put it out of my mind until I started going through some of my parents' stuff, and I do it every so often. So you have to keep this secret. So I found the ring. And my son James was very close to his grandpa, to his papa. And in fact, when my dad passed away, James was in ROTC, and James took off his ROTC badge, and he gave it to my dad right before my dad passed away. And James is a soft heart. He's a sentimental kid. He values family heirlooms and treasures, and those are important important to him. So when I found my dad's ring, I thought, I think I'm gonna get it for James and fix it up. Now it's missing, it used to have a piece of onyx in the center of it, and it's missing that, and it's in really bad condition, but there it is. So when I'm done taping today, I'm driving to go get a new piece of onyx cut for it and to size it to James's ring size. And I don't know that he will ever wear it, but I know he will forever treasure it. And I thought it was gone. So I need you to keep that secret, because James is the one who approves your comments. And if you tell him, you'll ruin my surprise. But I think that this is a wonderful gift to pass on to him from when I was really very, very young. And I just wanted to do something for my dad. I wanted that moment that, you know, when you're a kid and you do something big for the first time and you see that look on your parents' face. And he wore it every day until he didn't. And while I wouldn't have begrudged my brother having it, and that would have been okay with me, I'm so glad that I have it and I get to pass it on to my family. So it's gonna be a nice Christmas. We're a very small family. There's just my husband and my boys and I, but it's gonna be a wonderful, wonderful Christmas if we all can keep the secret. I'm counting on you. So no winner chicken dinner today, but I wanted to share that with you because I share everything in my life with you. And yeah, maybe most of you have tuned out and passed, moved on, and this is supposed to be a crafting class, and it is. I'm getting there, but this is also a community of friends and of family. And when something happens to one of us, we all feel it, and we all want to be part of it by either saying, yay, good for you, or we're so very sorry to hear that. And if you're part of the live chat, you know that that is true, that we are there for each other. So I know my dad is looking down and saying, well, what took you so long to find it? I can hear his voice in my head saying, what took you so long? But I also know that he wouldn't want it to go to anybody else but James. So I'm going to tilt down. We're going to get started for today. Whatever you comment, please don't mention the ring. I really do want it to be an amazing surprise for James, but I wanted you to see. I'll show it to you after he gets it. I'll show it to you all prettied up and polished, and I mean, it's as dirty can be, but when it's all done, it's going to look amazing on him. All right, so I'm going to tilt on down. We're going to get started for today. And I've got amazing product to show with you. I've got technique for you, and it's just going to be light and easy breezy. And hopefully, if you just need some downtime, you come and spend it with me. All right, you guys, down I go. Bye. Oh, let me down I go. Bye. Look at it. I didn't even cry. I felt my eyes tear up, but that's okay. I cry at just about anything, including Folgers Crystals commercials. No judgment, right? All right, and let me get my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. All right, so new product. Now, everything that you see in the way of the paper really is from Hunky Dory. We have a couple collections from Hunky Dory. They're very, very limited. I am putting them online in the YouTube Yummies, but I'll show them to you, but some of them we have as low as 25, some of them we have 50, no more than about 100. So if you love Hunky Dory paper, you might want to go take a look. This is one of the Sizzix embossing folders. This is one of the Sizzix dies. Beautiful sample. And then here, again, this is Hunky Dory paper, right? And that's another Sizzix, well, it's part of the same Sizzix die set. Look at what a great birthday card that makes for a guy. This is their snowfall paper, but why does it have to be snowfall paper? Look at that. Isn't that a beautiful sample? All done in the mirror. And then last but not least is one of the Sizzix embossing folders. In fact, the embossing folder that did this is this one right here. So it has an embossing folder plus the die cut elements that let you go in and make something this spectacular. I mean, that's pretty amazing. Does it have to be for Christmas? No, she just chose Christmas paper. But all of that glitter work was done with the dies that they give you. Okay, so let's get started. And I think I'm gonna start at the beginning and just quickly, because I know, let me see how far, I think I'm gonna go up maybe just a little. There we go. Start at the beginning. Come on, zoom in. Because I know that maybe some people didn't see last week, so I'm not gonna take long to do it, but I am gonna work with the Lumiere paints just super quick. These are Lumiere paints by Jaquard. They're an acrylic-based paint. They are not a water-based paint. That makes everything different between them. Being that they are an acrylic-based paint, they'll go on wood, on metal, on glass, on plastic, on leather, on fabric, yes, on fabric, but also on paper. It does not work. It's not a water-based product. And the beautiful thing about that is that when you put it down, if you let it dry and then you go over the top of it with another color, it doesn't react. It doesn't mix and make mud. However, if you use it quick enough, you are able to do blends, that's for sure. So I'm just going to show the colors real quick because, again, I know that I did this last week, and if you're really interested, there's a really great class on Lumiere paints last week, and that's using stencils and stamps. Oh my gosh, you should see how wonderful this stamps. It's amazing, really. Okay, so I put some in the lid, and I've got my little blending brush, or dauber, and I'm gonna take from the lid, and less is more when you're playing with these, and it's a huge pot of paint. This is gonna last you some time. So I always go off to the side, and then I can come in if I need to add more. And I'm just gonna do some coloring, just so you can see the color. So this is a shimmer paint, and just absolutely lovely. One of the beautiful things about it is how quickly it dries. And when I say how quickly it dries, I mean it's almost dry. Well, almost 1, 2, well, by the time I wipe down my craft mat, it'll be dry. So wipe it up. And my Lumiere paint is dry. Lumiere is dry. Let's do the next color. I want to just show you the color so you know what you're looking at. It's the color in the jar is the color that you're going to get. That is the actual paint. Here we have the gold. And this is the same paint I used last week, the same jars. Give a little shake. Now you can use a paintbrush with it. I'm using a dauber. You will have to either clean your daubers or throw them away. They will harden. And you can see I'm going right over my purple. I want to get a little more in there. Right over my purple, and my purple is not moving. It's not making mud. So if you want to blend with them, you can. You do have to act a little quickly. There we go. Okay, so I'm working with my gold now. And I suppose I can, do I want to give it another coat? Since I'm on white paper, that way it doesn't The white paper doesn't, oh, see, it's still too wet. All right, I'm gonna go. We're just gonna go. I'm gonna let it dry. I need to let it dry for a second. All right, so there's gold. Let's move into maybe the red. Just to give you an idea of the colors. They're beautiful. They really are beautiful. And that little touch of shimmer. Let's move on to the, I don't know, the blue, the green. We'll do green. So I've brought in the first 6 colors that are, I put together my own little kit of colors that I thought were really good starter colors. Oh, Stacy. Okay, let's do this and that. There we go. You ready for the green? Come on, stay on. And again, you can see I went over the top of the red, but the red didn't move. That's because it's an acrylic paint. So green is done. Let's do the blue and then the pink. And then I will have the first 6 colors done for you, just so you can see them. I don't want to assume, oh, take this off. Come on, off. I don't want to assume that you watched last week and know what the colors look like. So I'm going to close this up and shake it one more time, just so I have a little bit in my lid. There we go, and my blue. Right? Really pretty. And then the last color would be the pink in the 6 primary colors. And the pink. Ooh, and then I need to wipe up my table. Now chances are that blue's already dry. It is. That's how fast it dries. It's really wonderful. That aspect of it is lovely, because usually when we're dealing with something that's a shimmer or a pigment, it takes time for it to dry. All right, there's my pink. So these are the 6 colors we have in kind of the starter kit. There's more colors and we'll bring more colors in, but I thought that these would be the first 6 that you would really probably want to play with. The jewel tones, they're beautiful, they're rich, they look amazing. And you can see that one, they're all dry. Even the pink is dry. They layer on top, they don't mix in because they are not water-based, they're acrylic-based. But if you work fast enough with them, you can achieve blends. You can. You just have to be a little quick. So that's the first 6 colors. Let me clean this up. Then we have colors that are called halo colors. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to be super quick about it and just show you the colors. That way, if you didn't watch last week, you know what we're looking at. Okay, so first halo color is the blue gold. Halo colors are 2-in-1 colors. They're duo colors or color shifters or changers. And I can go dab, 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 but then look at what the color changes to. So Dab, 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 just so you can see it. And then you can see how the color changes. They're pretty magical, the halos. And they look pretty amazing when they're done. You've got that extra little sheen coming through them in that color changing aspect of them. Okay, so there's the blue. Lid back on, please, thank you. Here is they're calling it the violet gold. Dab, 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 dab. And then shift it, shift it. Right? Dab, 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 and then shift it. And you get this beautiful violet with this yummy gold that comes through it. Really pretty. And then the last halo is the pink gold. Now they're not expensive paints. Jaquard is more of as a company that finds itself playing more in the fine art field than it does in the craft world, but fine art isn't talking about the level of your talent. Fine art is talking about the level, the quality of the product. So this is very highly pigmented acrylic paint. I mean, really highly pigmented acrylic paint. And I dare to say that if this had a scrapbooking company or a paper crafting company manufacturer's name on it, the price would be much more. But because it's coming from the fine art world, look at that. Look at that. You tend to be able to get better quality product from the fine art market at a lesser price. I don't know why, but I'm not one to argue with a good thing. So dab, 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 dab. So this is almost like a true rose gold. And shift. And you've got these amazing colors coming through. So pretty. And of course I have tons on here. I could probably cover my whole background here. See if I've still got some left here. So they really do go a long way. This is what's left over from what I was just using on the other side. That's what's left on my little spongy. So those are the halo colors. Here we have kind of the jewel tone primaries. We've got the halos. And the last ones I want to show you before I get started are the highlight colors, what they're calling highlight colors. Now, highlight colors look best on dark paper, whether it be dark black, or of course black is dark brown, blue, navy, purple, red, something that is not light. It needs to have that deep, rich color behind it for the highlights to work. Because a highlight on a light color paper is almost non-existent. So they have 3 highlight colors, like they have the 3 halo colors. And if I were to put it on a white paper, just quickly, I'm just going to do the one. Ooh, lots. It's a transparent, so you almost don't see it. Can you see there's a little bit of blue coming through? So on a light paper, it is as subtle can be. However, on a darker paper, ready? Say hello. Big difference, right? Huge difference. Same exact product, two totally different looks. You can kind of see it there, but here it really just absolutely pops. And I stamped with this last week with just plain stamps. It was beautiful. So then we have, I lost my little, okay. Then we have our highlight red. So I always put it off to the side. I can pick it up and then come back in. And now you see the highlight red coming through. Right? Beautiful. On dark color. And then the last one for highlight is the pink. Little in my lid. And look at that color. So now you can really see the difference between the three of them. And again, it's acrylic based. So if you go over the top, it's not going to make mud. They're not going to react to each other. Paper, glass, plastic, metal, leather, fabric. Here are your highlight colors. Here are your halo colors. And here are your primary colors. This is Lumiere paint by Jaquard, and it's nothing more than just beautiful. I want to say we have them priced at like $5.75 a bottle. I do know that Dick Blick, who is, I don't know, 100 times the size, no, they're 1,000 times the size we are. They might have them a little bit less. So it depends upon, where you want to go to shop, absolutely. But I don't want to deceive you and not tell you the truth. Dick Blick will have them, and I want to say they're maybe anywhere from 35 to 40 cents less, could be. I don't know what their sale is this week. All right, so keeping all of these in mind, we're going to move to the embossing folders. Now, Ellis & Sizzix has brought out their Chapter 1 2023, and we're lucky enough to be able to launch it for them on some of this product, or at least to be the first to market with it. Can you believe this is the cutest little embossing folder ever, right? It's teeny tiny, love it, love the size. So we've got several new 3D embossing folders. We've got multi-level embossing folders. That's what this one is. What does multi-level embossing folder mean? That means that you're going to have a more variation between the highs and the lows. A 3D embossing folder is really high, really defined out. A multi-level gives you variation. So you have very, very 3D looking elements, but then you also have some that are much softer, giving you more of a depth perception and a playing field when you're looking at it. Here we have a 3D embossing folder. Here we have a 3D embossing folder. Here we have a multi-level embossing folder. And here we have a 3D, now they're calling this are they calling them all? Yeah, textured impressions. Okay, a 3D embossing folder. So I'm going to do this one first, just to show. We'll play with a couple of these just to show. I think I'm going to do this one and that one, and then maybe this one. Okay. What does a 3D or an embossing folder do? Now, first off, you'll notice that these are very, very thick. Very thick. Thicker than most 3D embossing folders. You want to know why they're so thick? It isn't just because they want the definition to be really sharp, and they literally get out their micrometer gauge to make sure that the impression is what they want it to be. But they also made it this thick because it alleviated a platform. It means you have to use one less thing to make it work. Let me back up just a little bit. This is my Sizzix Big Shot machine. And typically with a Sizzix Big Shot machine, when it arrives to you, it looks much nicer than mine, but mine is loved and used. I mean, it's loved. Your Sizzix Big Shot machine is gonna come with a platform, your base plate. See how thick it is? It's gonna come with a solo shim that's going to allow you to do wafer style dies. And then it's gonna come with 2 clear plates. Now this is what your plates look like when they start. And this is what they're gonna look like, even worse than this eventually. So you're going to get 2 of these, and that's what your machine's gonna come with. And that's going to let you use all of your Sizzix products, absolutely. And this one, even though it is this thick, is also going to sail right through here. Typically we sandwich everything with Ellison. We always, with a Sizzix machine, we always take the cut plate and we put something down and then we put another one over the top of it. But if we do that, that is not gonna go through our machine. Not even close. In fact, if I do it typically how I would put something through a machine, the machine isn't going to take it. Let me see if I can get that up a little bit. The machine isn't going to take it. It's gonna say, nope, it's not gonna push in. Just won't. It's too thick. So then you have to start backing things out. It's like, okay, well, maybe it doesn't need the solo shim that it came with. All right, let's put that off to the side. So now I've got my base plate. I've got my, what is typically known as my cut plate. See all the cuts in it? And then I have my embossing folder, and then my second cut plate, or what we like to call a do not cut plate. So I always use a plate that's a different color, or my glitter plates, and I try not to cut into this plate at all, keeping it nice and straight from warping. So if I put that on there and I send it through, see, look at it's feeding, until you get to that folder and it says wait. Can you see it's not wanting to go? Don't force it, don't do it. It's not going through. It's saying, no can do. So it's like, okay, well now what do I take off? I've taken off almost everything, and I always sandwich 2. You always have 2, but do you? No, not necessarily, not with a 3D embossing folder. And you'll know, or a multi-level embossing folder, you'll know that it's that kind of embossing folder, one, because of the color. See, look at how dark it is and look at how thick it is. While the textured impression with the framelets or thinlets that go inside, see how that's a translucent white? These are totally different colors, this folder and this folder. They're also completely different thicknesses. This folder is a 2D in folder. It is not 3D. Look at how thin it is. Gosh, you can even bend it. It's translucent in comparison to this one. I can't bend this. This is not gonna bend. And it's certainly not the same color. That's gonna tell you the difference, 2D, 3D, or multi-level. So with a multi-level, I've tried everything. I'm gonna just now put this, in fact, let's put a piece of paper in there. I'm gonna just take my bottom plate completely off. So instead of having my cut plate down there like I've been having normally, I'm gonna remove it completely, totally take it off, say goodbye, and I'm gonna go straight to my base platform. And you're gonna go, no, Stacy, don't do that. It's gonna harm the base platform. No. Now if I was die cutting, I would never do that because the die cut would then potentially cut into my plate if I had it the wrong way. But this is an embossing folder. Look, it's smooth on one side, smooth on the other. There is nothing it can do to harm my base plate. Nothing at all. So I'm gonna go straight to my platform. I'm only gonna add one plate over the top. And let's see what happens. So I'm gonna start to roll. It's gonna get to that place where it hits that embossing folder. And look at that. And see how, can you see how easy my hand is rolling? Easy peasy mac and cheesy. That is a holy smokes artichokes yay moment. Let me get these all together because I have made a mess and I've just started. How can I make a mess that quick? And I pull it out and bam. Now, I don't know if I can get the camera to pick up the definition, but that looks really good. What if I just took a little bit, just a little bit of the blue, just to go over, just so you can hopefully, oh, look at, I've got blue in there, hello. Oh, Lumiere paint over the top, nothing over the top. My embossing folder stops right there. So this has nothing, and that has, I didn't even get into it. That's what was left on my sponge, right? Okay, happy day for me. And can you see the shimmer and the shine? Can you see it winking at you? That's what Lumiere paint does. Ho ho, I so want to do Beauty and the Beast. Lumiere, ho ho, be our guest. So, 3D embossing folders act a little bit differently. They look a little bit differently, or multi-level embossing folders, they're a little bit thicker. And one of the reasons they did that is to, again, make sure that you get the best depth possible. Go down just a little bit. The best depth possible from your embossing, but it also just eliminates a plate. It just makes it easy to sell through. This was the thickness that they needed to get the most optimal embossing for you with the Sizzix Big Shot machine. So one done, lovely. Let's move on. How about we try this one? Okay, let's see what this one looks like, right? And again, super thick. I mean, crazy thick. And you always know with a Sizzix embossing folder which way is up because they put their logo right there. So you can see which way is up. And that way, if you are using a double-sided paper that you're gonna wanna sand, you know that the side that you wanna see facing you is face up. But, what if we took, clean my mess up. What if we took a piece of paper and I just colored it with the Lumiere? How about the pink? Or the green? No, let's just do the pink. Why not? So I'm going to color my paper ahead of time. And I'm just going to pick this up and I'm going to color my paper. What am I making? I'm making shimmer paper. Don't have shimmer paper? You do now. Okay. I think that's pretty good. All right, I've made myself a piece of pink shimmer paper. Pink shimmer paper. You want it a little more coverage? It's up to you. All I do is close it up, shake it up, and pull what's out from the lid. Now what's important is it's dry. This is dry. This is good to go right now. I don't have to wait any time to use this. I want to add a little bit more, I can. I don't know that I needed to, but. And that color is just going to layer on top. It's not going to darken because this isn't an ink. This is a paint. So it's not going to continually get a darker pink and a darker pink. It's not a water-based product where it's going to layer and layer and layer like you would see with perhaps your Tombow markers or your Violet Studios markers from Crafter's Companion. This is a paint. It would be as if you were painting your walls. You have to go over it a couple times, but it doesn't change the color. It doesn't darken as you're doing it. I've got my fingers in it, but look at the shimmer on that. And the key thing to this is that it dries so fast. So I'm going to pull this up. Just use a baby wipe on my craft mat. Got my fingers in it, but that's okay. This is, oh, that was good, right? That definitely shows you the sheen. Now let's take an embossing folder. And let's stick it on in there. Suppose I could cut the bottom off because I don't need it, but I would definitely save that to maybe die cut words or flowers, or, I mean, look at that. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Take my little top off and let's roll it through. So bring back my machine again. I've got just my base platform. I don't need anything more than that. My paper with my pretty side up. Now if I did this, the main side of the embossing would now be white. You want the pretty side that you want to see on your finished product facing the same direction as the logo of the company. That's what you want to see. So let's roll it on through. No bottom plate, just my base plate, my embossing folder, and my do not cut plate, a cut plate. It makes no difference what you use here. And it's gonna hit that roller and bam. And you can see way back here how easy it's rolling through. It's like butter. This is not a struggle. If it's a struggle, something's wrong and I need you to stop and kind of work your way back. Okay, so then let's see what we've got here. Ooh. Right? Say hello, beautiful. Now I've got it on the back too. I suppose we could, just maybe I zoom in just a little bit. No. I suppose we could add to the back, and I could grab my pink because I've got some pink there already, or I could do a different color. Yeah, let's do a different color. That way I can cut it in half and do half and half. How about purple? So this is the back side, and I'm doing this after I've done the embossing. You're gonna have to rub a little harder, or you're gonna have to hit really light. So if you wanna get the whole thing done, you'll have to really rub and get down in there, or you hit really light just to get the top done. And then you decide which you like better. So if I like just hitting the tops, I can't do that until after I've embossed. If I want the whole thing done, it kind of disappears in there. Here, it's magic. But here, it kind of disappears. But if you want that back side to be done, you've got to add that color after you've embossed. Right? So, choice is yours. Here it is the way they intend it. Here's the debossed side, but here's the debossed side just lightly with the shimmer over the top, and you can see the shimmer and the shine. You decide. And they're dry. Shut the front door. Shut all the doors for that matter. They're dry because acrylic is a plastic. Acrylic kind of is a plastic, and you can kind of feel it's got a coating. Lovely. You decide. So let's clean this up. And let's move on. What if I did this one? Right? And I think this one, I will use gold, and let's see what happens. Now, can you ink the folder with the paint? Meh. It'll work, kind of, sort of. You gotta be really good with it. It's usually better if you do it after the fact, as opposed to inking this whole thing up and then sending it through. You'd have to work with it a little bit, but it might not give you the exact result you're looking for. Let me see if I can. So let's see if I ink the folder up. I mean, it looks really good there. And you're going to have to clean, well, it'll dry on your folder. You can clean your folder, but getting it in and out of those all these little curly cues is going to be a little bit of a chore. So let's put a piece of paper in there. That'll do. and my lid so I don't spill, and let's send it on through. So whereas dye-based ink looks wonderful when you do this with your embossing folders, the paint, I don't know if I've just not found the right touch or if you have a better technique than I do. And watch this one just come out perfect. That would be so me. Yeah, it's pretty. I just think that there's prettier things to do with this paint than maybe that. So I'm going to save that. It's dry. I don't know that I'm going to clean my folder. I think we're just going to go with it, and I'm going to grab another piece of paper. And this time I'm going to do the front and the back in the gold. And let's see what we got. And just do it all in the gold. Now, could you do this with luster wax? Yes, of course, Ellison has luster wax. That is a true wax-based product, no question about it. This is an acrylic-based product. They're totally different things. So you could lay down your luster wax if you wanted, as opposed to your Lumiere paint. What luster wax doesn't have is all the other colors. Luster wax right now has gold and silver and rose gold, really copper, and an interference, which they call, I think, mystical. And they're beautiful and they will work, yes. But what they don't have is all the other fabulous, oh, Stacy, the other fabulous colors. Yet. Doesn't mean that they won't, just means not yet. Okay, so I'm gonna let this be. And kind of, hopefully that'll be pretty dry. I'm gonna turn it over. I'm gonna do the back side too. Now it is curling. I'm using 80-pound paper, but I've got quite a bit of paint on there. I'm just going to do the back side too. And as it dries, my little lines will start to dissipate. Look at that. It was dry. Yay for me. All right. I'm feeling a little guilty about how much is on here, so I think I'm just going to take a piece of black, and maybe we use it a little later. But I'm feeling a little guilty about how much gold is on here and not using it. This is all that was still on my all right, maybe we use that for something at some point, but I was feeling a little guilty not using it. All right, off. This is completely dry. Let's wipe this down. And let's send it on through. Just a baby wipe to wipe it up. And let's send it on through. And I was gonna do, I'm doing this one, which we tried here. And it looks okay. It's white paper, it's okay. Kind of grabbed in the little nooks and crannies. Close that up. Cut off some of my end if I want to use it later. Fingerprints all over. And let's send it on through. So I don't have to use two plates. My embossing folder is directly down on my base plate, and then when it hits the roller, it just goes through like butter. If it's not going through like butter, now it'll take a little something to get it started, but once it's started, it should roll just like butter. Okay, that's beautiful. But that's beautiful. Which side do you like better? I got a strip in there, right there. So debossed, embossed. Now what if we take it? Oh, and it pulled some of it out for me. Happy day for me. Probably should have cleaned it first, but that's okay. Now what if we take it and we do, oh, what do you think? Maybe a little bit of the blue? Still have some blue in there. No. Or maybe we do the green. All right, change of plan. Let's do the green. You're like, no, we like the blue. Well, I know, but we like the green too. Oh, and I still got some green in there too. Oh. I didn't even add any. This is what's still left on there from when I used it the first time. Pretty. Let's do it to the other side. Do you think I don't know. Pretty. And I didn't even add any to my sponge. I'm just pushing it down into it. There's none, I haven't even opened the jar. This is my leftover. Pretty. I don't know which one you like better. You have options. I'm gonna go a little heavier over there. What happens if I go just a little heavier? Or I actually add some. Choices, options, you choose. Leave it just the plain beautiful gold. So what if I went ahead and I did the whole thing? And then, because I can, I come back and I add just a little bit of gold over the top of it. Ooh. Or do I add the blue over the top of it? Too much? Too much? It's only paper. Right now, it literally is just white paper. That's what we started with, just white paper. I know it looks like it was expensive paper, but it's not expensive paper. It's just white paper. Oh, okay, I'm good with the blue. What do we think? What about the backside? Finish the backside in the green. So you still got that gold coming in underneath it. And then we'll hit it with the blue. Green, blue. And it's dry. No fuss, no muss. No waiting. This is the debossed side, so those swirls are debossed into the paper as opposed to the embossed side. Okay, the best way for you to see this is by me cutting it in half. Lids, lids. Clean my mess. I know I feel terribly guilty not using that ink on something. And zoop, this one I'll keep. And let's cut off the noise. So luster wax will do something very, very similar. And Sizzix makes luster wax and it's beautiful. But they don't have all of these colors yet in luster wax. Trust me, I'm working on it. But when this does a beautiful job and gives you that metallic look with no wait time to dry, then you have to decide. Which one do you like better? Which one works for you? Color both sides of the paper and you don't have to choose. You can do whatever makes your heart happy, but they look amazing. So remember, when I added it to the embossing folder, it was okay. I mean, I can definitely work with this. I'm not saying that I can't. It's a different look. Definitely more subtle. So 2 different sides, embossed, debossed. That's adding the paint directly to the folder versus painting, putting on a base coat of paint and then sending it through and then highlighting the top. Because when we just send it through, this is what we get. If you just want one color, that's what we get. But you don't have to stick with one color. No, heavens no. And they all have that Lumiere shine. That beautiful iridescent, pearlescent shimmer glow. Sure, you can go right over the top of it. Or not. You choose. You choose how much to color. The 3D embossing folders give you that option because the depth, even the multi-level too, because of the depth. In fact, I think this one is a is this one a multi-level? What did I do with the, nope, this one's a 3D. So the depth of the embossing is so high, it's so deeply in there that it lets your sponge, it lets your dauber, however, your blending brush, whatever you're doing, just kind of hit the tops, preserving the color that's underneath so that it all doesn't just become, you don't put your gold down and then go over it with the green and it just becomes green, and then you put your blue down and it just becomes blue. You're able to hit the highs and the lows, giving you a dramatic effect. Love the paint. Love, love, love the paint. I do. Okay, so let's see. We've done this one and we've done that one. Okay, how about this one? But now let's change it up and let's use black paper maybe, shall we? Should we use black paper? Let me see. What do I want to do with that one? Okay, well, yeah, maybe we'll use black paper. Now this one is a multi-level. It is a multi-level. This one isn't, oh no, this one's also a 3D. Which ones are multi-level? This one's a multi-level. This one's a multi-level. Okay, this one's a 3D. Do I want to use black? Yeah, let's use black. Do I want to color my black first and then send it through? Okay, let's color my black first and then send it through. So I've got the Crafter's Companion black paper. We did this as a added bonus with their embossing folders, which most of you should have by now. I think we're going to include it again with these embossing folders. What if I color this first? And I have it, actually I have that in the gold. What if I do it in, change of plan. What if I do it in white and I use one of those halos? Change of plan. White. White. Sizzix side up. Ooh, but if I'm going to do it in the halo. See, decisions. It's hard when you've got so much you want to show. I think I'm going to color it in the halo. In this one. And I think I'm going to color my paper first and send it through, and then I'm going to color my paper second afterwards, so you can see the two. So this is that duo color. This is that beautiful duo color. Where it has that undercurrent, that undertone of that beautiful, almost a peacocky blue, and on top is that shimmer of that gold. Should we do both sides? Let's get a little more in there. And let's just get some ink down. Oh, well, paint. This isn't ink, it's paint. And look at the pretty color. Okay, this is that duo color. So now I've done both sides. So I'm gonna do one colored and one on just white paper. And let's see what we get. It's dry. Who would have ever thought, but it's dry. And let's bring our machine over. And send it on through. You could sit there and play and play and play and make the most beautiful backgrounds. And then if you have a friend who doesn't have a die cutting machine, you can, Okay, I need to finish my thought. I was just a little, taken away with that. If you don't have a friend with a die cutting machine, oh my gosh, you could make them the most beautiful backgrounds. Look at this. That's just dreamy. Dreamy. Oh, and it's dry. That means you are ready to go. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Okay, let's try it on just white paper and then coming back and adding the duo color and see what we get. People will ask, well, do you know what you're gonna get before you get it? No, I don't actually. These YouTubes are not scripted. They're not edited. We're doing it together and you see it as I see it. And sometimes I'll pull it out and go, I didn't like that. Sometimes I think it's gonna work fabulously and it doesn't. And that's good for you to know. You know, people will always say, well, do you know what you're gonna get before you do it? No. I mean, I know what the die cuts are gonna look like. I mean, it's pretty easy. This is gonna be a square die cut. I got that. But you never know what you're gonna get until you get it. Okay, let's see. So this time I'm just gonna go right over the top. And see how I feel about that. Kind of where the higher peaks are it's adhering a little bit more. Okay, so you can see where the higher definition is where you're seeing that gold come through, because it's getting more coverage, because it's getting hit every time I go around it. So where the lower areas are, that gold, it's not getting hit enough for that gold to cement to it. But where those higher peaks are in the embossing folder, you can completely see it. Now that is a totally different look than this. Just by changing how I use the paper. Do I pre-color my paper first, or do I emboss and then color my paper? It's a totally different look. Same thing. The higher the embossing, some of the areas are raised higher than the other, is where you're seeing that gold come through the blue. So it's a totally different look. And neither one is right or wrong. It's all a matter of what do you want it to look like. Now, I suppose I could go in here and I could get rid of some more of this white if I wanted. Maybe you like the white. What if I wanted to just make it a really soft blue? I could just lightly go in there and kind of color away a little bit of the white. But still leaving that beautiful, look at that. That's the halo color. That's how you get that. Look at that. Or you want an all over background, and there you go. The decision is yours. You can choose how much to add, how much to take away. When I say take away, I mean over here. How light do you want it on your sponge when you go in? How heavy do you want it? Do you want to pick up more and go in there and really add the color? You control it. Just always remember, it's easier to start light and then add in your color, because once you go really dark, once it's heavy and it's in there, it's impossible to get it out. This is paper, so you're not going to be able to just wipe it away. If it was plastic or glass, you could go back and do it again. Now let's see. We've got this one in gold. I've got this black sheet in gold. And what if that was my leftovers. What if I came back in with my gold, clean up my mess, because that was kind of my leftovers, I'm going to add a little bit more gold to it. That was what was left on my sponge. Now that gold looks completely different on the black than it does on the white. All right, I think I'm gonna be good. So it looks different on the black than it does on the white. That's the same gold, but look at the difference in the colors. Because here it's backed on just white paper that's keeping that gold very true to the original color, where this one is backed on black, which is changing the gold because the black is absorbing some of that color. Same exact gold color, two totally different looks. Even if I add more to this one. So your choice of paper is really important because that's going to change the color of what you're doing. I mean, I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but I'm hoping you can see the difference between the colors just based off of, and it's dry, just based off of the paper that I'm using. So what if we send this one through? And this one is a multi-level. Now the multi-level is going to have some that are really 3D and some that are a little bit less to give it more of a high and a low, a little bit more dimensional. I'm putting my paper right in the center. I colored the whole thing. I'm putting it right in the center just because I like to have a place for my overage, my noise, my ink to go. And then I cut it off, but it gives me an opportunity to have a little place for my ink to start and stop. Let's see what we get. Now I only colored one side. Pretty, right? Really pretty. Let's see what we're gonna do with it. How about we bring in some of the green? That goes there. Where's my green? So people asked how this is comparable to maybe I don't know what they call it. It's the Tim Holtz product, and it's kind of like, it's not a wax. You have to heat set his. So I'm not exactly sure what it's called. Oh, my brain is not remembering because we don't carry Tim Holtz Ranger products. Somebody will mention it in live chat. I guess the difference is, one, this is an acrylic-based paint, and it doesn't need to be heat set. And yes, you can absolutely paint with it. So there we are. And what if we added maybe just a touch of red. Just a touch. Is that Foundry? Is that what it is? Foundry wax? I don't know. And don't tell Tim that I don't know. That crazy lady on YouTube doesn't know your product. I'm sorry. Oh. Oh, so pretty. Love it. Okay, yeah, this is making my heart happy. And like I said before, It's dry. So you move on to your next step, whatever your next step is going to be. Now what about the back side? I didn't do anything to the back side. What if we took and we did the opposite? What if I did the green? And I just hit the whole thing with green. Okay, I just kind of hit the whole thing with green. Have no idea, the backside might not come out at all. But then what if we hit it with maybe some of the highlight in the red. So the highlight, remember, it's going to be kind of transparent. But it needs a dark color to start with. And now I've got green on black. Let me wipe up my mess. Okay, that's good. So now I've got my highlight red, and that's kind of that transparency, the color that's transparent. Boy, that was a struggle. And let's see what it does on the green. So I've got a little bit of red coming through. And then maybe just a hint of gold, just like a whisper of gold. Whisper of gold, a hint, a smidge. Just a smidge. All right, everybody's smidges are mean different things. You're like, that's a little more than a smidge. What did I do with my what did I do with my pink? It was here and then it wasn't. Oh, that's purple. I don't want purple. Oh, there's my pink. Which is really the red, highlight red. Okay, well, you'll have to decide. And I should stop because I'll just keep layering it. So let's get rid of all the background noise because that will really make you focus in on what we have. Now these are awful pretty. Don't know what you're going to do with them, but they're awful pretty. Which way do we like better? You have options. Black paper behaves differently. The colors are absorbed differently into the black paper. So pretty. Gosh, what if we did? You think we can do that one? Where'd it go? Let's see. Take a little piece of the black, put my stuff back together again. Let's take a little piece of the black. Ooh, I've got a piece of black right here. Well, happy day for me. And right here. And let's send it on through. And, decisions. What if I do one side with the highlight blue? That's the highlight. Let's do one side with the highlight blue. Ooh! Do I have enough? Yeah. One side with highlight blue. Stacy. Let's get some more on there. Get my fingerprints out of it. Suppose that's how somebody really knows you made a card, if you left a fingerprint for them, huh? Big old thumbprint right in the middle of it. Okay, highlight blue. I'm gonna leave that side, I think, plain. Put my blue back on top so I know that's what it is. Get rid of some of this. And dry. Isn't that a beautiful color? Wow. Let's put it right in. And let's send it on through. Easy peasy mac and cheesy. That's what I've got. Pretty, but kind of hard to see it, right? Little hard to see it. So the highlight blue background with some gold. But what about the back? What if I took the highlight blue and we did the back? I still got plenty in there. Oh, I didn't even use any. I didn't even have to open it. Decisions, decisions. That or that? I don't know. I like them both. A little bit of that black peeking through. So pretty. That or that? All done with the highlight. That highlight on that black is amazing. Right? I mean, really the options become limitless when you know and understand that different colored papers are going to behave differently with whatever you're using. I mean, they're just yummy. But we still have one more folder to work with. What do we want to do with that one last folder? Well, we have a couple more folders to work with. Let's see. Let's open this one. And let's use black again. Why not, right? Ooh, I don't want to lose these. These are good too. I don't want to lose those either. Let's use black again. And, oh, this one's by Eileen. Hey Eileen, love your embossing folder. Bring it on over, and I don't think I'm going to ink either side. If we have to, we'll do it again. But I think I'm just going to let it be, and we'll see what we get. Look at that. Is that magic? Oh, I got gold on it. Don't know which side I like better. But let's play. Let's take the highlight. Let's take the highlight violet. And let's see what we get with that. Right? Magic. Remember, this color on white doesn't actually have a color. It kind of just fades away and disappears. But the highlights on your dark tones, and it doesn't have to be black. No, you can use it on navy and browns and dark grays, and it just needs to be something that has some depth and color, so that this transparent type of paint that has an interference in it, they're calling it a highlight, comes through. And it's dry. Let's do the highlight blue on the back side. Ooh. No, we'll do the highlight blue. I was thinking we might do the duo color, the halo, but I got a little gold in there, so. So this is almost on the back side. This looks a little more tattered. This looks a little more pristine, a little more tattered. Just the image itself gives you a little more of a distressed look on one side, a little more distressed, a little more polished and finished. But what if we came in with the duos? Do I dare? I don't know. It's only paper. It's just black paper. Just black paper. Just keep telling myself it's just black paper. I don't know. Do I do it? Do I do it? Do I dare? I'm so nervous. I have nothing on my. Well, now it's very Halloween-y. Yeah, it's very Halloween-y. That duo on the black comes out very green. Yep, it does. It comes out very green. Oh yeah, that's right, because the color that's underneath, the blue that's underneath is absorbing into the black, leaving me just that highlight color. I'm not so crazy about that. No, no, no. How about we try and fix it? I'm not so... I like the duo color on the white. Holy smokes, artichokes. That looks great on the white. On the black, I'm not so sure because you lose that secondary color. Now we're Mardi Gras. And not so Halloween. But look at those colors on the black. Okay, now I like it. We're like Florida. If you want to see the weather change, just wait 5 minutes. If you want to see Stacy change her opinion on something, just give her another color to play with. No, I think that's beautiful. Okay, I love that. Ooh. Okay, that makes my heart happy. What if we add... You're like, pink? I don't know. What's the harm? It's black paper. But I started with that highlight, which is what gave me the foundation of those amazing colors. That's the violet highlight, and this is the blue highlight. Oh, amazing colors. Oh, I didn't add any to my lid. Just a light touch. Oh, Do we add just a hint of gold just because we can? Because the bottle's open and I'm here, and why not? Do we add a little more pink? I don't know. A little more pink? No, pink enough. Pretty. Pretty. Get rid of the noise. Let's close up my bottles. And then ooh. I don't know, which do you like better? You don't have to choose. Oh, it's magic and it's dry. Love this. Love all the different things you can do with this stuff. It is so about options. And the embossing folders just make it so easy peasy. You guys all thought it would look amazing with embossing folders, and yeah, you were right. No question there. You decide what you like best, what works best for you. I do have one other embossing folder. I have this one. Now this is not a multi-level or a 3D embossing folder. It is a standard 2D embossing folder. So rolling it through your Big Shot machine, again, it's gonna be a little different because obviously look at the difference in the thickness. I mean, huge difference in thickness, and that means that your machine is going to take it differently. Something this thick versus this thin, sometimes just a sheet of copy paper can make the difference as to whether your die will cut or not. Sometimes you have to shim literally with something as thin as copy paper, and that just adds enough pressure to the rollers going through your machine that it will cut. Hard to believe. So when you have something like this where it is so different in the thickness, you know the sandwich is going to have to be different. So we go back to our little platform here, our base platform, and here they show you 3D embossing folders. There's the sandwich right here, right there for you to see. Now you want a regular embossing folder? See how translucent this is? A translucent embossing folder is right here, and it shows you the directions right here. There's no guesswork. It's all right there. Amazingly, all we have to do sometimes is look down. That's a big problem for me. I will surface look. I'll be like, yeah, I know it was here 2 minutes ago. I saw it, and I think I've looked, but I haven't. So if there's ever a question about how to sandwich something, they've given you some pretty simple ways to get the most common things done with their machine done. Now, what do we want to do? I'm going to do white paper, black paper. What if I took and did a sheet in, what if I did a sheet in purple? Ooh, what if I did a sheet in, no, let's do purple. And I'm just going to do the whole thing. think that's probably enough. Okay, whole sheet in purple. Pretty fast, right? And then let's emboss it. Now, again, this is a 2D folder. It's going to ask, if I did just what I was doing and I didn't change anything, and I sent this through my Big Shot machine, first off, I don't even have to roll it. It's just gonna slide on through. It is so thin. The sandwich is not high enough to reach the roller that's in your machine. That means I have to add something. Let's start with the cut plate, then my folder, then my do not cut plate, and send it on through. Now it's reaching high enough to that roller to force that embossing. It needs that pressure from the roller to make that embossing or that die cut happen. Look at how pretty. Now, what if I were to take and I think I'll do it on white. Do we want pink? Do we want the rosy pink? The rosy pink on purple? I don't know. Let's try. It's only white paper. Let's give it a whirl. What's the worst that can happen? We don't like it. So this is the halo color. So it's a duo color. Remember, it's got that rosy pink underneath and then the gold coming through. And I kind of want that gold kind of here, there, and everywhere, because I'm going to die cut. So you see the rosy underneath it, but then that gold over the top. And then I have the dies that come with the embossing folder because they left you negative space right here, negative space. And they left you dies to make those pop and embellish. You're like, yeah. So what if I took this one and that one? Do I have a second set down here? Am I lucky enough to have them have a second set? Thought I had a second set. Why, yes, I do. Shh, don't tell downstairs we're opening up a second set. Why? Because I'm just going to pull these out so I get a couple of these cut. So there. And there, and there, and here. All right, so I'm going to die cut. Can I get all 4 of them across? I can. Ha 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 ha. So again, if I put this on the sandwich that I just did for my 2D embossing folder, which was different than what I was doing for my 3D embossing folder, and I send it on through, again, look it's not thick enough. I can just move it with my hands. That means I have to add something to make the thickness of my sandwich high enough to hit that roller. Here we go. Comes with your machine. Mine is loved and worn, and I'm okay with it. Keeper of the secret sauce Kevin's like, I'll send you a new one. I'm like, no, don't send me a new one. Mine doesn't look any different than everybody else's. So now I've got my base plate, I've got my do not cut plate. No, not my do not cut plate. I've got my solo shim for wafer dies. Wafer die. I've got my do not cut plate, my paper, my dies, and away I go. I don't think these are intricate enough that they're going to require a precision base plate. We're going to give it a whirl and see what happens. Gosh, I should have had my multi-plates here. I would have used my multi-plates, yep. That way they wouldn't move as much. But I'm just going to give it a whirl. Worst thing happens, we have to cut it again. It's only white paper. Now, I didn't take my machine all the way through. Did you see that I didn't roll it all the way to the end? Once I'm past my die, I'm done. Oh, nope. Look at that, didn't cut all the way through. Let's try it again. Well, that one did. Yay for that one. Let's try it again. Let's put them maybe up here and let's rotate. Maybe they do need a precision base plate. Let's put them up here. And let's send them through. This time, let's do a rotation. So I'm going to send them on through. When I get to the end, I will rotate my entire platform. Pull it out and just do a 180-degree rotate. That way the dies have an opportunity to hit the roller in a new way, a way that maybe my sweet spot is more on this side. Gives the dies an opportunity to cut. Sometimes you need to do that. Let's see. Better, but still not all the way. Nope, still not all the way. All right. I have to finish. So let's add some more of my pink, my duo. And let's grab a sheet of copy paper. I'm still not convinced that you have to use a precision base plate with these. I'm going to grab a sheet of copy paper. Because my machine gets used a lot. So the more your machine is used, the looser it becomes. That's the term that they use. It becomes loose. It's not as tight going through. I'm just going to grab a sheet of copy paper. Let's see, we got a sheet somewhere? Yeah, how about right here? So I'm gonna grab a sheet of copy paper and we're just gonna figure this out, because this very well could be you. Thankfully, this is already dry, so we're not having any downtime. This time I'm going to put my sheet of copy paper, because I'm still not convinced it's going to require a precision base plate. Sheet of copy paper right there. Right there. Then my solo shim. Then my my cut plate. I can already hear Ellison. Let's just send you a new machine. No, let's figure this out. Let's work with what we've got. Because eventually your big shot machine, depending on how much you use it, you might need to do a spot shim. So I just added one sheet of copy paper and we're gonna try. And if I have to add 2 sheets of copy paper, we're gonna try. And maybe it does take the precision base plate. I just can't believe it. I don't believe it. So I'm gonna roll it through. Now when I roll it through, it's gonna be, oh, see, I can feel it. It's a little bit tighter. I know that's hard to believe because it's just a thin sheet of copy paper, but sometimes that's all it needs. Maybe it needs 2 sheets of copy paper. Your machine may be brand spanking new and may die cut with, oh my gosh. Okay, so, yeah. Maybe it wants to, it's thinking about it. Just that one little right there. So it looks like 1 sheet of copy paper got me close. It got me close, but still not total. So I'm gonna try 2 sheets, and then if it doesn't work, then we'll move to a precision base plate. So I have that other half of copy paper. Let's try it again. Sometimes this is what it takes. We are creative crafters. We are what do I want to say? We solve problems. We see what we want and we figure out a way to get it done. We're ingenious. That's the word I want. I like that. Crafters typically are very ingenious in how they get something done. They're inventive, obviously, and creative. Well, that's just part of our makeup. We're not quitters. We're gonna figure this out. So now I've added 2 sheets of copy paper. Boy, am I gonna be tight. I don't think I'm not gonna get all 4 of them in there. Well, can you say by the hair of a chinny chin chin? Let's see what happens. So now I've got 2 sheets of copy paper in there. And I wished I had my little my platforms, my cutting plates that were the multi-size. I would use a much smaller. I'm gonna roll it, turn it around, and bring it back. Okay. Well, it really was by the hair of a chinny chin chin. Oh, nope, those are too close together. Let's see if I got these done. Yep. So it took 2 pieces of copy paper. Okay. So I've got 2 that are good. this one is so close. I think I'm going to go ahead and try and use this one, because it is right there. And I think for all intents and purposes, you'll get the idea, even if it's not all punched out. So I've got that one. And can I get any of this one punched out? Nope. Can I get any of that one punched? Nope. Okay, so these are trashed. Can I get the small ones in here? I can get one. All right, I'm going to try and cut the small ones just because I'm not a quitter. I ran out of paper, but we're going to try. I think most people would have edited this part out, but this is the part that's important for especially newbie crafters, to know not everything works exactly the way you think it's going to work the first time. So I've got 2 pieces of copy paper under there to make a shim. I didn't want to use, you could use a precision base plate, but I didn't want you to have a precision base plate for these, especially since they're mostly embossing folders. Yep, that's what it took. 2 pieces of copy paper. All right, so I think we're good. I'm going to go with these. Put these up on there. That gives me these 2. Let me bring back where we started. Remember, way back here. So now these are meant to fit right over the top. So that you can go in and you can add your detail. You've got the thin ones, the smaller version down here, and the thicker version up there. So that now you can go in and add your detail. And build on it. Do you have to do all of them? Heavens no. I could just do the bottom layers if I want. And because you've got the 2, you've got one that's going to be bigger. So you can either use it to cover more of the square up, or the thinner version to cut the square. I could do the bottom and the top. It's up to you. But it gives you a beautiful way to go in and add all of that beautiful detail. Or just use those all on their own. It's absolutely stunning when it's done. Well, the sample that I showed you, this is what it looks like. Beautiful, right? Same thing. Just cut and build. Cut and build. And cut off your noise. You can use them on either side. Your debossed or your embossed side. Choice is yours. And you just start to build. it makes the most gorgeous finished card. Well, you just saw. And that is how the set that comes with the dies, how to use it. Now, it took us a little longer to get there than I had hoped, but I wasn't going to give up on die cutting. I had just said sometimes you need a shim, not knowing that I was going to need a shim. And if it hadn't cut, I probably would have cut one more piece of cardstock and tried again. Those are very small dies to need the precision base plate. A simple shim can generally answer all your questions. So let's see, what's the last thing I have to do? Oh, it's late. I have the dies. So I have a die set from Sizzix. Well, I've got a couple of them, but this one is part of the YouTube. And it is unique, to say the least. Here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dies. But what it makes is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different cuts. You're like, what? Now, I don't know if I'm going to need the shims with these. But let's just take my black paper. And the reason why I'm using the Crafter's Companion black paper, is because it is basically a perfect fit for this square. There is always a method to my madness. Now you're like, but it's already a rectangle, or a square, why do I need another square? Well, let's bring it over. I'm just gonna leave my shims where they are. Did I leave them there? Yeah, I'm gonna leave them where they are. Don't know that I need them, but we're gonna see. I'm gonna put my black paper from my Crafter's Companion. You guys got this when we did the Crafter's Companion embossing folders, those beautiful 3D floral embossing folders. I'm gonna center it the best I can. I might take some washi tape I might take some washi tape to tape it down, or you can use your magnetic platform, and I'm gonna send this on through. I think I moved it. Yeah, I'm sure I moved it, but that's okay. We'll just send it on through. Ooh, creaks and cracks are okay. Don't worry. This is an open frame die. Ugh. I am not going to use a precision base plate because it is an open frame die, and even then I got a little bit of a warp. Okay, so here. My die is slightly warped. I'm just gonna flatten it back out. Now you're like, okay, but all you got is another square. No, that's not all I got. No. Because I used the 6x6 paper, however I don't know if it's an exact 6x6 or not. I was able to get a larger frame. This is what the die is supposed to cut. Right here. It cuts a frame and it cuts a solid, which is why when I showed it to you, it's 1, 2. Here's 1. Here's 2. So it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cuts. It's 12 cuts. Frame, solid. But if you use the right paper or you cut your paper to a slightly larger size, now you've got 2 frames. And you're like, but they're the same frames. Oh, but they are not the same frame. See, this one fits exactly with the square. Fits exactly. This one is slightly larger. Giving you the opportunity to truly make this a mat. Okay, because if I use the frame that comes, that die cuts with it, They're the exact same size. And that's great if you want to do a frame in one color and the inside in another. That way they work absolutely perfectly together. I could cut this in a beautiful gold, and now I would have a gold frame around my black mat. But if by just taking an extra 2 minutes, not even that, if you have the paper, cutting it out of a paper that is slightly bigger, that gives you the opportunity to now have that look and still be able to use the frame. These are really great dies. I know when I brought them in, the girls are like, I don't see it. I don't know about it. I'm like, you just have to trust me. And by the time they were all done making samples, they were all sure it was amazing. That's not a big enough piece. So here. Ooh, that's going to be by a hair of a chinny chin chin, but that's okay. Do I have? Okay, let's cut this one. And you're going to get the same thing. You're going to get the, if I can keep it from cutting the edges, you're going to get a frame, you're going to get a solid, and if I'm lucky, I might be able to get a third frame. I mean, I'm right on the edge there. I did not give myself any wiggle room at all. So all I can do is roll it through and see what happens. It's an open frame die. Really, it should cut on the first pass. I told you I didn't give myself much, but it stayed together. So now I've got that. Which then oh, bad cut, but that's okay. Then I can do that, but I have this that I can then, oh, and wait. Let's not forget. I have this, which maybe I say to myself, I didn't like the purple. What if we just change it? Okay, it's not purple anymore. So what if I put this with this, come on, lay in there. I have options. I have oodles of options with these. What if I decide I want this to be gold, since I've got the gold out. What if I want this to be gold? Okay, let's put that to the side. And I want this one to be, what color do I want it to be? Let's use the highlight, because that'll be the easiest, fastest way to color it. Okay, so now I've got this one in blue. That one in blue. And then I want the background to be in my I don't know, do I just want to leave it black? So I could be here with my gold and then here with my black. But I also have the second mat, so I can come in here with the second frame and build that in. Let's get that second frame layered in there. And now, because I used a 6x6 piece of paper, I'm able to achieve a mat like that, where I've got dual. And maybe I grab, I don't want that with the blue. I grab my green. And I get my green down. And then I've got that. And I've got my gold. So I've got my gold, I've got my green, I've got my centerpiece. Gosh, I don't know if I want to use my blue, but maybe I'll just leave it as black. Well, the backside's as colored as the top, but you get the idea. You have so many different ways of doing things. And it's that way with every one of the dies. Every one of them. You're going to see sample after sample after sample with these dies where we have utilized not only the frame, but the inside piece as well, or we have used it to make a window. They're so easy to use. It's a brand new set. It's part of chapter 1. This is the launch of it. And you have beautiful ways to put your projects together. That looks really good on there. All right. Oh my gosh, we've done so much. We did so much. And I didn't even use this one. Oh, all right. For another time. Let me clean up my mess. We did so much. We started by reviewing the Lumiere paints by Jaquard. That's where we started, was talking about the Lumiere paints by Jaquard. They are an acrylic-based paint, not a water-based ink or paint. They dry almost instantaneously. They all have a pearlescent, metallic-y finish to them. They're creamy, they're smooth, less is more. I've put together this set as like an opening set. We'll bring in more colors. But then they also have the duo. So here's those first 6 colors. Remember all that time ago when we did that? Then we did the duo colors, which are the colors that have an undertone to them. They have a gold on top and an undertow to them, an undercurrent of another color. This one's got a blue, violet, or red, and they're just beautiful. And those are called halo colors. And then we had the 3 interference colors. Aren't you proud of me making sure that my lids are on before I turn them over? Then we had the 3 interference colors. So we talked about that super quickly. And then we moved into the embossing folders and all the different things that can be done with the 3D embossing folders. And these are brand new, just released. Just released. You're seeing them here first. And the magic that you can make happen. Which side do you like better? I only used white and black paper today. See, there's the white. But here it is once you hit it, and I hit it with that Lumiere blue. And beautiful. Front side, back side. See, I just did both sides for you so you could see the difference. This one, I colored the paper before I sent it through the embossing folder. This one, I colored the paper after. And you can see, either way is great. It just depends upon how you want it. But when you color the paper after, that gold hits the high parts. Whereas here, it's running all the way through. I mean, really, you just play. Look at how stunning is that. And they dry instantaneously. And because the embossing folders are made the way they are, to where the depth is so important to Ellison, so important that they be a nice deep etching, a nice deep embossing, that the inks just play so well with them. And the papers just look so beautiful no matter what you do. That side or that side. So we did all of this, and then we finished up with a little bit about a really unique and easy to use die set that gives you option upon option. When you're out shopping with your independent retailer, if that's where you're going, remember, it's not, you're getting 6 dies, but you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 cuts. That's double the value. And the biggest one works like a gem with 6x6 paper. It gives you an outer border, it gives you an inner frame and a solid for you to then layer and work with. I love the biggest one. That frame makes my heart happy because I get so many opportunities to do something with it. Whether I don't want to have the inner frame and I want to put this on Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Hey. Grab a piece of black because it's going to fit perfect. That on there. That in the center, leaving a little bit of that black matte between. So you're going to see that black going all the way around. And then here. And that just gives me that extra matte of black. Oh yeah, baby. That works for me. Right? You have options. You absolutely have options. All right, so I've got a lot to show you. Okay, so what's on sale? So we have a few items that I didn't use in today's YouTube that are part of Chapter 1 that are available for sale. They'll be on sale. They'll be in the YouTube Yummies category, but I didn't use them as part of the YouTube. They're just some of the Chapter 1 that have just released. Look at how cute are those guys, right? They're darling. So I just want to show you that there's other product that was not used in the YouTube, but is part of their Chapter 1 release that we have as a first to market. This is like a little ATC. There's the coordinating stamps. Boy, I bet you, well, this matches like all the embossing folders. We should have had that as part of the YouTube. Oh, well. We really should have. That was a mistake. Floral. A Biggs die. So it's called a Biggs, B-I-G-Z. That means it'll cut through fabric, it will cut through leather, it will cut through flashing, and then 2 more. So the samples for these are right here, just so you can see, even though they're not part of the YouTube, just to give you an idea of what they do. Super cute, right? I agree. And then a few of the flowers, which got a little smushed in the shipping. A little smushed in the shipping. Sorry. But the florals, they'll fix them when they go back. These have to go back. These can't stay. These have got to go back. Thank you for letting us borrow them. They haven't even had photography of these yet. That's a little bit of the floral. Little smushed, but they'll make them all beautiful when they get back to Ellison. Okay, so those are the items that we didn't use in the YouTube today. How about the items that we did? So I've got all the embossing folders, and they're on an I Want It All bundle for the embossing folders, where you get, I think I used all of them today. Pretty sure I used all of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's your I Want It All, and with that you're also going to get the black paper, kind of bonusing that in there. Okay, so there's your I Want It All for the embossing folders. I did not do the die as a part of the I Want It All. I figure if you'd like it, you can get it. It's just 1 unit. That's it. It's 1 SKU. And I didn't want to include it just in case you weren't, into the die cutting part of this. Absolutely. All the Jaquard will stay back on sale. Absolutely. All of it will stay. We'll just leave it right on sale. We'll leave the daubers and the sponges still on sale. Absolutely. And then we've got the bundles of those here. So the 6-pack regularly $43, your price is $33.99. I had to call Asher and make sure that we could do this because we had sold out. So he said, no, they're producing more right now because these are manufactured right here. These are made here in the States, not just in the States, but here in California. And then a lot of the samples you're going to see are going to be made using the Hunky Dory paper. Now we have limited quantities of all the Hunky Dory paper. And when I mean limited quantities, I mean sometimes 25s of something, literally 25s. I mean, but they're gorgeous. They're absolutely beautiful. Some of them we have 50, some of them, I think this one, which was my favorite, because I love that sheet right there. I think this one we probably have 75 of. So the girls used it all for samples. If there's a Hunky Dory that you like, then I suggest you grab it, because when it's gone, they're a one and done. We don't get to bring them back. All right, let's do some samples. Okay, so I know I showed you this one. Don't fall, please. I know I showed you this one. I think I'm going to go up just a little bit. And here we have the die. It's embossed. We embossed the piece, then we die cut again, framed it in. I showed you this one. This is all Hunky Dory paper. Here's the die from Sizzix, the embossing folder. This is the paper from Hunky Dory, the paper from Hunky Dory. SMS Honorary SMS Girl Patty just loved the Oriental paper. Here you have the paper from Hunky Dory. You've got the embossing folder that's been cut down to the size. You've got the frame that goes around it. You've got big hugs cut out of the same paper, all from Hunky Dory. I know I showed you this one. Again, all Hunky Dory paper. This one, not Hunky Dory paper. The background is Hunky Dory paper. They used ink over the top. Oh, this one is Hunky Dory paper. It's so pretty. And then they put the interference, the Lumiere interference over the top just to give a little bit of sparkle and shine. This one is spring. Somewhere there's a fall. Oh, well, here's a fall. Same embossing folder. She used the same embossing folder for the spring, summer, fall, and winter. Somewhere there's a winter and a oh, here's the spring. No, wait, that's not the spring. Pretty paper though. So all of this came out of that Hunky Dory pack that I love. It's this pack here. This pack's gorgeous. It's just yummy. So these all were fussy cut out. The background paper and then the embossing folder. Embossing folder, pretty. Again, Hunky Dory paper, embossing folder on a mirror stock, cut out with the Sizzix die. You've got the frame and the insert. Hooray. So you've got here Sizzix, you've got here Sizzix, here. I can't remember if I showed that one. I might have. All right, and then over here, this is Hunky Dory paper. Sizzix dies. Hunky Dory paper. Sizzix dies. Hunky Dory paper. Sizzix dies. Hunky Dory paper. I don't know if that is or not. I don't think so. Sizzix dies. Look at how pretty these are. Just beautiful. These are the Sizzix dies just as diamonds. And this one has been embossed with the embossing folder. Oh, here's Summer. So she used the same embossing folder 4 times. She did spring, summer, fall, and winter. And here's your summer. Hunky dory paper. Cute, right? Sizzix dies. Hunky dory paper and Sizzix. Here you've got the embossing folder. So here's your winter. So this embossing folder is the same as this embossing folder, is the same as, so all 4 of these, spring, summer, fall, and winter, all done using the same embossing folder on the background from Sizzix. All of them the same. Claire did these. She did 2 of them in 2 seasons, and then I said, but where are the other 2 seasons? So she went back and did those too. And then here, this is the hunky dory paper, die cut with the Sizzix dies. But here's that same paper, and you've got the Sizzix dies and then embossed. So pretty. All right. So I would say you could run into your local independent retailer to find the Sizzix, but I can't say that right now. They will have it in maybe 2 or 3 weeks, maybe. I know that they're being able to order it now. We're first to market on it, so we're very thankful for that. Thank you, Sizzix, thank you. Ta-da, it's Taylor, and gosh, you're good, Jen, and oh so clever Karina, yep, oh so clever Karina, and keeper of the secret sauce, Kevin, and fearless Fiona. Man, you guys got a lot of people. That's half my staff right there. Oh my gosh. Okay, so everybody at Ellison, big hugs. Thank you for that. Then Jaquard, you may be able to find that at your local more artsy store, but perhaps some of your independent retailers may have it. Absolutely. Can you buy it online? Yes, Dick Blicka has a better price than I do. I'm telling you that straight up. I can't do anything about it. They are more than 1,000 times the size that Scrapbooking Made Simple is. More than that. So their buying power is more than mine. Gotta call it like it is, folks. But we put it out there at the best price we possibly could. We've got so between at Sizzix, it's the embossing folders, it's the dies, it's chapter 1, first to market, Jaquard, the Lumiere paints, and then hunky dory. We have what we have, and that's all that we have. Not because I didn't want to buy more, because there wasn't any more to buy. I really would love to be able to carry more of it, but we can only get what's available. So you will find all of this in our retail store here in Canyon Country, California, or shop online at scrapbookingmadesimple.com. If you have an independent retailer, go see if they can special order any of this goodness for you. I'm sure they would be happy to do that. By all means, shop with them first. If they're able to do a special order for you, let them. It may take a little bit longer, but we take a little bit longer, so it's all the same. All right, you guys, it's me, Stacy, Scrapbooking Made Simple, scrapbookingmadesimple.com, and you have to keep the secret. Promise me? Okay. Bye, everybody.